I grew up here. Can people hear me? Yeah. Nothing I say here hasn't been said better by somebody else before, and I'm only speaking for myself and my organisation. We're stepping on stolen Gadigal land under the Australian occupation. Sovereignty of this land has never been ceded. I pay my respects to all First Nations people here with us today, in the past and in the present. So a number of people have spoken about the NRC and the CAA, and what I wanted to say was that we cannot underplay that these bills have clear genocidal intent. In a precursor to the national level citizenship drive in the state of Assam, almost 2 million people have already been declared non-citizens. Detention centres exclusively for these so-called illegal immigrants are already being built across the country. One is almost complete. Muslims are specifically left out of the CAA, and so many other oppressed groups will be affected, as we've heard. I mean, this isn't out of the blue. The RSS, or the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, is a 96-year-old paramilitary organisation which exerts strong influence over the BJP. The RSS explicitly seeks Brahmin domination over all people across the entire subcontinent. Both the ideology and the material reality of Brahmanism has had a strong impact on Nazis and fascists, from the Aryans to the swastika. Heinrich Himmler even read the Gita every day. The straight-out Brahmanism that comes in through the NRC and the CAA has been part of the RSS agenda for a very long time. They are incredibly organised and have been doing serious groundwork for the last 96 years. Here in Australia, as well as other settler colonies, the ruling class have made huge progress in achieving the original Nazi dreams of the Lebensraum, including mass slaughter of so-called inferior races, the Aboriginal people. There's a lot I want to talk to, but I'm just going to kind of quickly go through a list. I really wanted to talk about repression against protesters, especially in Uttar Pradesh, that many people have heard about, including 25 people murdered, more than 5,000 people arrested, police openly chanting Hindu slogans while targeting Muslims, and in general they're starting to import the techniques they have been perfecting in the various laboratories of oppression against Adivasis, against Dalits of all religions, people in the northeast and Kashmir, to use on targeting Muslims across the country, and also those who are privileged too. I wanted to talk about the incredible resistance, even in the face of such repression, not just from students, but across people from a huge variety of sections, across religions, across ages, across castes and genders, even in so-called apolitical places like Bangalore, where they defied the curfew entirely. And I also really wanted to emphasize the huge importance of people from oppressed communities in organizing these protests. Muslim communities, for people across all ages. You know, incredible stories of young Muslim women pulling their friends out from under piles of people, de-escalating violence, de-arresting people from cops, pushing police away, protecting men from police violence by wrapping around them. All of the coolness and the laughter and the staunchness in the face of police violence that these young Muslim women are showing is truly inspirational. And I also wanted to talk about the pivotal importance of the Bhim Army to the protests in Uttar Pradesh. We've got a poster there about Chandrasekhar Azad. The Bhim Army is named after Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, a hugely important anti-caste movement leader and intellectual heavyweight, and you'll see some posters of him around. And it's no surprise that a movement based on anti-caste philosophy and action, including running over 1,000 free schools for Dalit, Mahujan, or majority caste, and fighting against oppressor caste violence has emerged as a key force in the mobilization against these Brahminical bills, even during periods of heavy state violence. I wanted to talk about how Brahmanism is a political structure that cuts across all religions and political groupings. I wanted to talk about how in Australia, we talk about multiculturalism, but that's just a soft white supremacy that supports the genocide against Aboriginal people, and how in India secularism is also just a soft Brahmanism, and how secularism will not be a strong enough resistance to stop these kinds of policies and these kinds of governments rearing their head again and again and again if we are not explicitly challenging the structures of Indian society and the caste system. We wanted to talk about the economic and political linkages between Australia and India in the past and in the present, which so many people have talked about, how Scott Morrison is going to India to sell coal, and how, you know, Australian governments are totally fine on bringing up humanitarian issues when it comes to places like China and Iran.